I've got my Father of Gecko shirt on. What's up, you guys? James from James Reptiles. I have Willow. I had to think of her name for a second there. My adult female gargoyle gecko. This is exactly what she looked like when I got her too. She's nice, dark. But today, I just want to go over some new setups, some new egg boxes, and show you guys her real quick. When I first got her, she already had the regenerated tail, and she's missing a couple toe tips. You can see these two are longer than the other two, and I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but you can see right there is darker where it shouldn't be. That's where the male was biting her. You see a lot of that gecko just laid eggs. You see a lot of aggression in animal breeding, especially reptiles, especially lizards and geckos, and you see it specifically in gargoyle geckos, Leachianus geckos, African fat-tailed geckos. They breed very hard. The males will bite the females will bite the males. They'll assert their dominance. One will take over the other. One will harm the other a lot of times. And so I assume her missing toes are from past breedings, but I have no way to tell. Now, I just went to Dollar Tree, and so for a lot of stuff, you can use Tupperware. I know for egg boxes, for laying boxes, I use Tupperware. Normally, for crested geckos, I use these. What are these? 5.4 ounce, and you just cut a little hole. And they work fine. The geckos get inside. I know a lot of people use the longer ones. The ones that I would prefer, you can't get at Dollar Tree. I'm sure they're not that expensive at Target. It's probably like $5 for 4 or something like that. But nevertheless, I can get 2 of these for $1 or 1 of these for $1. And I went with the bigger ones for the gargoyle geckos just because they do get slightly bigger than crested geckos. Not by much, but I don't know, just felt right. And I don't even know if this is going to fit in the enclosure, honestly. Because I do have that big centerpiece that you can see right here. I always put it right in the front. It's just easy to get to for me. And it looks like it'll fit, yeah. It'll fit nice right there. At the bottom's all dirty. But I thought I had a bunch of Tupperware sitting around that I picked up from Dollar Tree, but I couldn't find it, so I got some more. These are just extra just in case. I'll need some eventually. But I do also have 2 of these tubs, which if you look down here, I have 3 growths down there. And I want to start separating, so I have 2 of these. I want to put them each in one, or quite possibly 2 in one, and 1 in another with a different, or I put another gecko in its own. The reason I'm doing this is you want to have grow up tubs. 1, so you can raise up stuff that you want to breed, future breeding stock, or if you have a bunch of geckos and want to decide what you want to breed, you need to have adults to pick from. You need to raise them up. You need to separate them usually. And also, you definitely, if you want to sell your geckos for more, you want to raise them up. Now, it takes time, space, energy, food to raise up geckos to full size before you sell them. But in a lot of cases, it's worth it. I even think snakes are worth it a lot of times. If you know what you're doing, if you understand the markets, if you know where to get your food where it's not through the roof expensive, you can raise up your stock, sell it as adults, as breeding size adults. Make sure you sell off the ugly stuff as babies, because a lot of times people buy it as babies. It'll be cheaper. They're more likely to buy it. They might think it's going to change. If you understand your geckos and your pairing and what they throw out, you understand, like, if you have the same pair of corn snakes and every year babies come out, and you understand what the ugly ones look like and what the ones that are going to turn out nice look like, sell a couple of the ugly ones as you go and keep some of the nicer stuff back, raise it up, and then sell it as adults, and you're selling really nice adult size, breeding size snakes It's nice to save some females too, sell a couple extra males as their babies, hold back some females, and then when they're adults, you can get the 3 to 4 times what you would get as a baby, and at that point, you've only put in, you know, $100 or $200 worth of mice. You know, who knows? Who knows how many? 50. Yeah. If you fed in a mouse every week, and a mouse cost you $1, $150. And say your snake's $150 anyway, and then you sell it as an adult for $350, you're making more profit that way. Or even if it's even more, the profit margins grow exponentially. And that's something I'll talk about in a future video, or right now, I don't know. I'll talk about it in a future video. But for now, the male. As like I said, these guys are like, look how dark that girl is. And they change colors a lot. I'll post some pictures soon of the two pair on my Instagram of when they're really light and when they're really dark. It's basically when the dark is when they're fired up and all that color shines through. But I took the male out the other day and he was super white with these bright red spots. Now look at him. He's like dark with these rusty color spots. And they're both nice. They're both nice geckos. There's a little bit of shit right there. Can't wait to have some babies. Basically, you know, I didn't spend a bunch of money on these ones. I didn't pick the best ones. So I don't expect to sell the babies for a ton. But with that being said, I can save a couple back, not worry about making my profit. I can make all the profit I want for my crested geckos. And whatever I make from these guys can be extra. And I can keep back the nicest stuff, and in a year and a half, or however long exactly it takes gargoyles, you know, I don't know, I've never done it. It's probably a year and a half to 2 years. You get nicer stuff grown up, and you breed it, and if it doesn't turn out so nice, at that point you can sell it. Instead of, you know, $80 to $100 for a baby, you can sell an adult for $200 to $250, even if it's ugly. And this guy has amazing head structure. You know, it's short, it's pronounced, the horns are huge on this guy. Other gargoyle gecko breeders have commented on how huge his horns are, and I can't wait to pass that on. So there's a lot of stuff I want to look for. I'd like some that look like her, striped without the red. I'd like that. I'd like to get some nice dark ones out of him. If I can get one that's like him with the stripes, better stripes, that's always good, because everyone's always looking for the stripes for whatever reason. And any of those combinations, if they have the big horns, awesome. If they don't, it's probably gonna be sold. I'll probably wait to make sure I get some. I'll hold back some females. I'll hold back the first 2 females most likely, no matter what. And then I'll raise them up and I'll see what's up. And if they're nice, they're nice. If they're not, I'll sell them and buy other adult females. I could sell 2 and buy a nicer 1 or something like that. And that's just to keep my numbers growing. I have 1 pair and that's awesome, but eventually if I can have 2 females and 1 male, it's twice as many eggs, or 3 females or 4 females, or a couple of trios. It's all better that way. Started with a pair of crested geckos and I raised them up. Of course I was given some, but now I'm at 4 adult females, and I need to check that one for eggs just now because I'm pretty sure she laid. But I can't wait to start selling these guys. They sell for a little bit more. Go on, get it. And so they have been a little bit aggressive towards each other, but not enough to where I would need to separate them. So here are my 3 that I'm growing up currently. I have 2 more that I want to grow up picked out that are nice high orange, and I think that'd be a really cool project. They're unrelated. This guy right here, Race Car, I actually bought this. It is a male, and come on now. And it seems like he's in perpetual shed. I'm not really sure why that is, but I would like to get him separated. just to figure that out. And of course, keeping all three together, I have noticed that none of them are growing super fast. And part of that has to do with they're at that stage in their life where, I've noticed this with a lot of crested geckos specifically. Other stuff seems to grow steadily, but, well, cord snakes, they hit that teenager stage where they look the same as they did 2 months ago. I'm sure they've grown a little bit, but they look the same as they have 2 months ago. But I'm sure in, a month from now they'll hit a growth spurt, and all of a sudden they'll be huge and they'll be paradise size, subadult, and then they'll stop for a little bit, and they'll hit that growth spurt, and then they'll grow. So it's always agonizing to try to wait for them to grow up, but it is what it is. I think that one's going to be a boy too. If that one ends up being a boy, I'll probably end up selling them. Real nice Dalmatian spots on that for what he is, but this one, there's some nice big spots, and if I can get a female with nice big spots that's better than my female currently, that's really the goal. Just adding another one to that would be really nice. Spots are great. Any of the morphs are great in extreme forms. If you have just a little bit of Dalmatian or just a little bit of striping, it's good. You might sell some at shows, but no one's really looking to buy them. If you're producing super high Dalmatian spots or super nice stripes, more people are willing to buy them, and because more people are willing to buy them, you can raise the prices a lot more. Alright, so that's going to be all of my ranting for today. One more thing. My buddy Andy Ree, I'm not really sure how you pronounce his last name, R-E-A, him, and I know a lot of people know Riley Jimerson. Riley Jimerson's been on a lot of podcasts. He goes to my local herp society. He's worked at the Atlanta Zoo. I can't remember what zoo, but now he currently works at the Sacramento Zoo. Personal friend of mine. He's been on a lot of podcasts. A lot of people know him for his work with carpet pythons, rainbow boas, and quite frankly, recently the Madagascar hogs, the giant Madagascar hogs, I believe. He accidentally produced some, and I think he's one of the only, he's like the second person in the country to do it, which is crazy. Him and Andy Ree. Not a lot of people know Andy as far as I'm aware, but Andy's a great guy. He's always out there educating, going to nonprofit events, always doing amazing stuff. They are starting a podcast together. It's going to be called Reptile Room Podcast. I think it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. All of you guys should check it out if you're into podcasts. If you have an extra hour or however long it ends up being, they told me it's going to come out next month. Please give it a check. Please check it out. Give it a quick little listen. Worst case scenario, you learn something. What's the big deal? It's going to be reptile related, but podcasts, you can kind of listen to any podcast and still learn something. I listen to a lot of business podcasts and reptile podcasts. I'm trying to get out there. Some stuff is hard because people ramble about stuff I don't care about, but you always end up learning something. So if you guys are interested in that at all, please go ahead and give it a check. I keep saying that. Go ahead and check it out. Nevertheless, I'm James from James Reptiles. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. All that really helps out the channel. Leave a like. Make sure to hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, jamesreptiles@gmail.com, and have a good one. I'll see you guys tomorrow.